All right, welcome back to another episode of the Open Mic Podcast with me, your host, Tom Hirst, brought to you by Richland Source, Newsroom After Hours. Today, we have MARROWEATER.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
I always, you always want to make sure. I was like, I think I can read. I'm pretty sure I graduated high school, so I'm going to test that theory out today.
Cool.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, you want to introduce yourselves and tell us about the band?
Sure. I am Dave. I am the vocalist, and we are pretty new. We just started this not long ago, and
literally probably about a month ago.
Yeah, and we've already got our first single that just dropped this past Friday. But I'll go ahead and let my main man over here introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Chase. I play
Chase.
primarily guitar, but right now I'm currently writing bass and the drums.
Yes, Chase
Nice.
is.
Triple duty.
He is the mastermind behind the instrumentals right now.
Heck yeah. Good job, Chase.
Oh, thank you.
I have only heard clips, but what kind of music do you guys play?
The heaviest deathcore you can think of.
All right.
Just if you want music that sounds like you're ready to punch anything and anyone in front of you, we're that.
Awesome. That rules. I mean, wait, so how old are you guys?
I'm 29.
29? Okay.
I am 19.
19. Okay. I don't know, it's wild that that genre of music is coming back like that.
10-year difference.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
It just keeps evolving.
Yeah, right. It seems like it's getting a lot more popular the last,
Yes.
5-6 months.
Which feels so good.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome.
Yes.
It's really awesome.
I remember a few years ago just all the memes of Deathcore is dead.
Yeah. That's amazing. And, well, I mean,
We're bringing
brought it back. Yeah, they brought it back to life just by making fun of it.
Bringing it to Akron and Mansfield.
Yeah.
Cleveland.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you guys got a single coming out then?
Yes. It came out this past Friday.
This past Friday?
Yep. So
Okay.
it's out.
Oh, dang. Man, I'm really bad at this.
He's good at his job.
I'm way ahead of everything. Holy crap. I was late today. Slept in.
It's all good. It's all
Man. But yeah, so you put out a single?
good. Yes.
That's sick. How long has this band been in concept before? You said you started a month. You guys just
Literally about a month ago.
Yeah.
I literally hit David up and was like, hey, you want to do something together?
Yeah.
And within a week, we had settled on a band name and
dang.
ideas.
I kid you not, it's been a month now. We got one single out, and I will be honest that we already have 5 songs written.
Heck yeah.
We're
been itching to do something, huh, Chase?
I'm just very productive. I mean, I play for Cleveland deathcore band Reticulatus.
Okay, sick.
So
okay.
I'm always busy.
So
Yeah, you
he's
just
out
stay-
here running 2 bands while he'll send me an instrumental. He'll send 2 a week sometimes, and I'm like, I gotta catch up. I haven't even written the last one.
That's awesome.
So we've kind of got a little bit of a pattern going down. He kind of sends me a track, I write over it, and
you guys just get it.
we go from there.
Who mixes and masters?
I does.
That's it.
Yep, doing pretty much everything for the production and recording side.
Okay.
I'm nothing but a pretty face and a voice.
It's the best place to be.
Yeah.
That's the best place to be, man. That's crazy. You guys are
Everything's mostly been exchange of emails for the last month. To be honest with you, this is right now as we speak. We're hanging out for the first time in several years
in person.
It's our technical second time meeting in person.
Wow, that's
first
awesome.
time we met was my first show ever.
Okay,
I was playing
the meadery,
the McAlpine Meadery in Beach City.
Okay,
and one of his older bands was playing, and I opened up for them. And man, I remember immediately I was a fan. They were so good. They were better than the headliners that night. And
that's
just based on the way the band performed, they all knew what they were doing and they were experienced, and I looked up to that, especially it being my first show.
Right.
So I met Chase. We got each other's contacts and kept in touch a bit throughout the years, and always kind of wanted to do something together, but now it's kind of coming in to full motion. So
heck yeah. Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Dang, second time
ever meeting.
And we're right here.
Yeah, and it's right here. Dude, that's wild. The internet's a crazy place, man.
It is.
Holy
it's a crazy place.
Yeah. Start an entire band without ever being around each other.
Yeah.
Dude, so everything's digital at this point in time as far as like over the internet with you guys. Are you guys planning on looking to play shows, looking for people?
So basically right now, MARROWEATER is what I call in the production stage of things. Basically, we are just wanting to build the name, get product out, because that's the most important thing with being in a semi-professional band is you have to have a product to support yourself.
Absolutely.
Shows, you go out and play a show and you have nothing to show for it. I mean, nobody's going to remember you after that night. Most people are drunk.
Yeah.
True.
So right now we're kind of just trying to push as much content as we can before we really focus on performing live and stuff. So
but it is the goal to get everything together to where we can play live. It probably will be about almost a year out before we can even consider that idea.
Yeah, maybe we'll do another year reunion.
There we go.
Back on once we're playing live.
Doomsday of every new year. Every New Year's. Well,
this is the old if you
New
guys
Year's.
don't know, I Dave, the vocalist, I am also Doomsday. I was on the Open Mic podcast last year.
Yeah, we looked it up. It was like January 2024.
Yeah, so it's been a little over a year, and we're finally back. We're bringing it back.
Yep, we need to do it every year.
Every year.
Don't do anything new until a year from now.
Okay,
and then we can promote it on here. Okay, cool. So you guys got a pretty solid game plan going on then, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And just mostly just focusing on the music, and we'll probably start looking into other things like merchandise later down the road. I mean, we got some designs. I can't describe what they are right now, but there's something. There's all kinds of stuff in the works.
Yeah. Okay. That's
really cool.
That's really cool. So you guys have a pretty concrete step by step that you want to hit. Like you said, maybe about a year for shows. Like, are you guys gonna just put out singles then, or are you guys looking to put out an album of some sort, EP, whatever it is?
So me and Dave kind of talked a little bit about that over the phone several times. We're thinking right now mostly just a couple singles.
Yeah.
And as we're progressively writing, we don't know if we want to do a first EP or potentially an album.
A full-fledged album.
Yeah.
Only probably just because I keep pulling songs out of my butt like crazy.
Right.
And the more that it goes on, the more it feels natural, and we're just kind of going with whatever feels right in the moment.
Yeah.
So with Infestation, which is the single that just dropped, it felt right. We had written a song before that when I first had written the lyrics to it and tracked all the vocals, got it sent over, he sent it back. I was set. Yeah. I was like, it's great. It's got to be the first single. And then we made that second song. It's like, never mind.
Yep, that's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
That's sick, though. That's real sick. Man, you guys, that's awesome. It's awesome to see you guys just kind of hit the ground running. That's really refreshing.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Funny story. I mean, way back when, probably, I don't know, 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Chase had hit me up, or I can't remember if I hit you up wanting to do something. And he ended up sending me this instrumental.
Yeah.
I tried to lay vocals over it, and I was not the vocalist I am today.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Not at all. I was, I was still learning.
Yeah.
And I was pretty confident in my screaming, but I wasn't confident enough to really dedicate myself to a band at that point.
Okay.
And so we kind of, we left it be for a little bit.
Yeah.
And here we are. We're back at it again.
That's cool.
And this time I feel like we're both on the same page with everything.
Yes, we are.
Really appreciative of the other's talent and kind of letting each other stay in the realm that we're most comfortable in.
Yeah.
I think the reason why I just unfortunately didn't really work that way back then and I kind of blame that mostly on me just because I was like in a different place at that point in time because the band that he met me in was called Kimura, and we were kind of going through some issues at that time.
Yeah.
He's name dropping.
I am name dropping.
I didn't say it earlier because I didn't know if you want to. Yeah, okay, continue.
Oh, I don't care.
Cool.
But yeah, we were just going through some issues at the time and trying to figure out exactly like what I wanted to do. Yeah. And there was a point in time that I was like getting ready to just hang the guitar strap up and just call it that and just worry about my occupation as a plumber.
Yeah.
And that's what I do for a living, by the way.
That's sick. I have a good friend that's a plumber as well.
Nice.
Yeah, plumbers are.
We love the plumbers.
Yeah, plumbers rule. Yeah.
But is the plumber's crack a real thing?
It is for some people.
Not for Jace. No. He keeps
there's a ratio.
He keeps it to uptight.
Yeah. There's a spectrum, you know. Yeah.
But funny story again. Last time I saw you, we were at. So I was with my girlfriend and her parents.
We're at Roosters.
We were at Roosters, and you knew her dad.
Yeah.
Which was wild. I was like, what a small world.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how this came up.
Okay.
When I saw you there, I was like, okay, I gotta hit him up. We gotta do it again.
Man, I love Roosters. It's not great food, but
it's like a good time.
Yeah, it's like
every time we go. I mean, like a table full of appetizers, and something happens.
Yeah, see, we see people. Yeah, it's weird what happens when you go out into the wild. You know,
to the Roosters,
to the real world of Roosters,
because that's the only place in Mansfield that's real.
Yeah,
it's Roosters.
Everywhere else is kind of on the fake side. You know,
you're fake.
Yeah. Okay. All about that Roosters.
Moving on from Roosters.
Roosters. Man, yeah. So, man, you guys are. I really appreciate the drive and the focus and the game plan. That's really cool. Especially having somebody like Chase who just wants to
I honestly thought you were talking about my hour drive here.
Yeah, that too.
I appreciate your drive.
Yeah. Did you? I mean, as long as you weren't speeding the entire time, I guess, right? You know,
yeah. Cars these days have cruise control.
Yeah,
man.
Right. There you go.
Selected.
Oh man. But yeah, so like, what kind of deathcore? I guess we could get it a little more in the weeds with it. Like, what kind of bands are you guys like? Kind of similar to, would you think, or that you guys like listen to a lot that you're sound forming?
Oh man, or
just kind of shaping your sound through.
That's one question that's really hard to think about because I listen to a lot of music.
Yeah, right.
And I'm even the kind of even though like I write and perform mostly deathcore, I'm the kind of guy that gets up in the morning, gets in my work van, and I blast Luke Bryan.
Yeah, right.
I love country music, but when I get behind my computer and I start writing things out, I tend to listen to a lot of like Body Snatcher, Traitors, the real heavy stuff, and then I'm a big fan of like a lot of our local music as well, and some of the surrounding areas of like from Chicago all the way out to Pennsylvania, and some of the bands I listen to. Good friends of mine right here in Akron, Six Deep.
Okay.
They really get my blood boiling to get behind my guitar and start writing some stuff.
That's like
their guitarist. He's like one of my best friends. We've known each other since 6th grade.
Okay, that's really cool. Yeah, man, that's really cool that like when there's actually a good song set of local bands around that you can like work off of and like kind of push each other.
I honestly think like the Northeast Ohio scene's just getting a lot stronger.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I felt like that there was like a separation and there was a lot of drama and stuff years ago, but it seems like a lot of people have grown up since then, and people are pushing to put good products out, and some of the bands that are forming are coming out the gates like fire.
Yeah. That's sick. That's really cool. I don't pay attention much outside of Mansfield, unfortunately, anymore. But I'm
not like into like drama or anything. No, but when I go on Facebook, I can't help but I see it. Because I have like 4,000 followers, and I only follow like maybe like 500-700 people.
Yeah, kind of
limited. So
yeah, that's a bummer. Like, it's a bummer they were ruining something, but that people are actually coming back to it, that it's able to thrive again, you know? Yeah. What about you, Dave?
And with the music question, I mean, what's so cool about MARROWEATER is I don't really listen to any music that's like MARROWEATER. I mean, I love it, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But when it comes to my normal everyday playlist, I listen to a lot of metalcore.
Okay.
As you know, I mean, a lot of my career has been singing.
Yeah.
And so I listen to like Memphis Mayfire, Bad Omens, just a lot of, poppy, singy metalcore. And doing MARROWEATER has been really fun because I have been experiencing more of like the creation of something that heavy, whereas I've always kind of been on the lighter side, getting heavy at points. Now we're just like full balls to the wall, like crazy. And but I mean, I grew up on Emir, any hard deathcore band you can think of. I was probably introduced to it very young. So as much as it's not always in my everyday rotation, it's always been a part of my life. So
cool.
Deathcore has been around with me since like 8th grade. And ever since I started getting into like writing music, I remember in school all my friends like, oh boy, here comes Chase with another Chelsea Grin core riff.
Dude, speaking of Chelsea Grin, I just saw them live at Incarceration. Oh my lord, they were so good.
Sounded really good.
Oh my.
Yeah, man, that's crazy that band is still around.
I know, right?
No original members either.
No, I was gonna say that's what I was wondering. I was about to ask.
Tom,
nobody.
The newer vocalist, he's great.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to.
I was fortunate
check out their
to
new
see
stuff,
Tom Barber with Lorna Shore at the Outpost. I actually got to open up for him.
Was
Outpost, really? One of my really old bands.
Okay.
Just before he left and did Chelsea Grin, so
that's sick.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. That's cool. Huh. Yeah, I'll have to listen to them. I haven't listened to Chelsea's Grin in a long time.
They're great.
I wasn't a huge fan of one of their vocalists a long time ago, and so I just never listened to them again. For whatever reason, they change members like every album. So
honestly, Tom he's been with them for a minute now.
Really?
Yeah. With was their first album together the album with Hostage?
Eternal Nightmare.
Was that album?
That album.
Yeah, that album was good. That's what really made me start loving Chelsea Grin, but I'm sure I was late to the party.
Hey.
I was 16 years old and I got to open up for Chelsea Grin and Motionless in White during the infamous tour back in 2012 when Peabody's was around.
Nice.
That's
good old Peabody's.
So I've seen the original Chelsea Grin lineup and everything.
That's sick. Nice, man.
That's awesome.
Good night. Peabody's. That was great.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to Peabody's?
No, I'm too young.
I figured.
I had never been there. But I know a lot about it.
The only thing you're not missing is the bathrooms there, man.
Yeah.
The bathrooms were always nasty.
Yeah.
I'll hold it.
Yeah. They're all kind of... The whole place in general was kind of nasty, but that was kind of the allure at the same time,
Yeah.
It's just kind of...
kept it alive.
A massive, weird building, but... It was awesome. But yeah, so what's when you guys putting out your next single then?
Oh,
because it sounds like you got a crap ton of music that you're just like sitting on. So
I think we should really let Infestation simmer for a bit.
Yes, it's gonna simmer for a bit while we're working on all the other stuff, but we're probably looking at within the next 3 months for maybe another single.
I mean, and that could even be like pushing time, possibly earlier.
We actually drove here and we were talking about like, we don't want to push things, we don't want to rush things, and of course that's not the way to go about things.
Yeah.
But we brought this first single out to basically introduce the entity of MARROWEATER.
I want people to have something for now.
Right.
And I think for our next single, we're gonna probably take it a step further by getting it released through like a channel, essentially reaching out to whether something like I don't know if Chuck Core's still around or Slam Worldwide.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that'll be the part of the next strategy for our next release.
Yeah.
Just
That's
really
cool.
trying to push it.
Yeah, right.
I didn't want to like put like our first single out like through any of those distributors, only because when you do that, people want more. and I want people to look up and be like, oh, there's another song I can listen to at least.
Right.
Yeah.
And rather than it being the first thing and there's nothing else for them to consume.
That makes sense.
I get on Slam Worldwide and I'll see like a brand new band, like a band that just came out like that day.
Yeah.
And I'll listen to the song and I'm like, oh man, that's really good. And then I look them up on Facebook or YouTube to see if there's anything else by them. And I'm like, oh, they only have one song out. And there's a lot of bands I've seen on those kind of networks that they put out one song and then you never hear from them again.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Huh.
I don't know. I don't know if like most of them could be internet projects or something, and just maybe they just never got around to doing another song. But it's like it kind of gets a little disappointing when you find something really good, and it's oh, what? Give me more.
Yeah, and then they never do anything else again. Yeah, no, that sucks. Yeah, so that makes sense. Put out your own song first, so that people have something to find after you actually use the distribution for the name. And that's a good idea.
It was so cool to see the Instagram page within like a few days, a week of promoting the song.
Yeah,
we keep in mind had no songs out, and the page is already at 1,100 followers within a week. So it's super cool to see that.
That's really cool.
Already starting to grow something.
Yeah.
And
that's cool. And we're getting like the attention and everything from those followers checking into it. And then I actually get messages, and we actually got message. I forgot to tell you this. Somebody actually messaged us wanting to play a house show in Columbus like in a few months, and I'm just like, I gotta break it to them. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen for at least a while. But consider us in the future.
Yeah, dude.
Right.
If you want us to come break some couches and stuff.
Yeah, dude. House shows are the best. I love house shows.
Is the Mothership still throwing shows?
Yeah,
often.
I've
never been.
Yeah,
I've been once, and it was to meet up with Jake.
Okay,
and that was it.
Yeah,
but honestly, I've heard great things about it.
Yeah.
Isn't it literally like a house kind of?
Yep, just in massive. Or not even massive. It's just in one of the rooms on the front of the house, actually.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool setup.
And it's like a pretty often venue. Like,
it seems like they've been doing stuff. I've been pretty out of touch with music around here lately, but
man, we've all got lives.
It seems like they've been having a lot of shows lately, and they just redid like a parking lot. They bought a parking lot space, and they actually across the street or across the alleyway from where the house is located. So
sick.
Yeah, right. They're making moves. They're doing stuff.
Isn't there a venue out here that was like Electric House or something? Electric Co.
Yeah.
They still have shows there?
No, they just closed.
Really?
Yeah.
For good?
Well, I don't know about for good. I think the person, Colton, who's running
Colton
it,
Ulrey, I think is his name.
Yeah, he didn't own the building, so it's still the building's there. I don't know what the original owner's going to do, but yeah, he closed it down. Man. I'm not sure why, but
I think the Electrico. This might be a tad controversial, but I think the Electrico was really cool back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is, I had some of my first shows I ever went to at the Electrico.
Yeah,
and it as the years went on, it felt like it got a little more clubby.
Yeah,
like it kind of just became like a night spot for getting together and drinking, rather than like a metal venue, which it used to be.
Right.
So,
yeah, I think he kind of was trying to branch out in a direction. Yeah. Didn't really know exactly. It was just kind of too many different things at once instead of focusing on one thing.
And it kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
Like most businesses, they're just trying to expand and try to figure out what more people are going to like to get more people in the doors.
Right.
Yeah. Whether it's more metal shows or you want to get some hip hop or you want to have like I know one of the events I love going to out at the Outpost in Kent is like emo night and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's literally just a big giant social gathering essentially.
Right. That's
and
cool.
they have like karaoke. They get these Guitar Hero guitars and some TVs and Nintendo.
So cool. Nice.
That's sick. That's cool. Huh, interesting. Yeah, it can be it's like a fine line between having lot of different styled and genre type of stuff, and then focusing on like one thing to make it really great. So I think he just kind of maybe fell in between that. I don't know, but yeah, it's a bummer, right?
It is.
We're
sad to see that place go.
Right. We don't have many venues in Mansfield anymore. I mean, that I played
as. Is the AK Hair Collective still doing shows?
No, Jake and Jill aren't doing shows anymore.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, AK Hair, they had I think they had some I don't remember why. There was something with the building that they had to do to.
Did you make it out to ResFest?
I didn't. I was I had to work that weekend.
ResFest was awesome.
Yeah,
it was
what I heard.
Great.
That's what I heard.
Somebody fainted during my set.
Oh,
yeah, and
they told that
they had to literally. I remember Jill coming up and just yelling at the DJ to stop the music, and that this dude had fainted. And
holy crap.
Guess I can't remember exactly what happened and why he fainted. It wasn't my awesomeness.
Oh, well.
As much as I tried to convince myself of that.
But
what was
it
so
still
weird,
could be. I mean,
it could have been. What actually happened is I'm sure it was like he was super hot and was enjoying the show and fainted.
Exactly.
Or possibly just too much alcohol. I mean, you
could have been
can't
anything.
get hydrated from alcohol.
No.
And if all you've had today was beer and liquor, you're going to get dehydrated. And if you go to a hot venue,
Yeah.
Yep.
But what was so weird is that dude that had fainted. So, I mean, we played the rest of that show, and it was phenomenal. I mean, that place was packed. Like, it was by far the biggest show I had ever played, which is funny because it's not that big of a place.
Right.
It was literally a basement. But it was packed, man.
Yeah.
Like, asses and elbows. No one was moving.
Yeah.
And we... but once I had gotten home from that show, my dad was talking to me, and he said that he saw the dude who fainted because his buddy was buddies with him, and he was like talking to him, and he was like, yeah, there was this super dope kid on stage, and he and all I remember is just like that, and then I was out, and then I was like in an ambulance.
Weird.
And then he was like, where were you at?
Yeah.
And he was like, AK Hair Collective, and he was like, my kid was playing there tonight. And
that's
ended
awesome.
up being the same guy from the show that I was telling him about.
That's
super
awesome. Not awesome that he passed out, but awesome.
No.
But awesome that
he was okay.
Connected. Yeah, that it connected like that for you. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was dope.
Dude. Yeah, man. I wish they could do shows in their basement still. That would.
Yeah,
it was such a cool place.
So cool.
That's a cool little spot, but.
I mean, like, I've talked about 2 venues now, and you've told me that they're going out.
They're gone.
Do you know of any around here?
Mothership.
Yeah.
I know I gotta be forgetting something.
Yeah. Is Two Cousins still doing shows?
Yes. Yeah, Two Cousins would. I think, yeah. I don't really know. I'm assuming Nicole would do a show if anybody had one.
Nice.
Presented to her. So yeah, I believe Two Cousins would still do shows. We just did a show at Relax. Paul's not really doing shows often, but I think if it was the right one with the right person, he would consider it. So
that's dope.
So technically 2 businesses that could be venues still. But,
we gotta build a venue.
Yeah, right.
Let's do it.
Yeah, just a shack out in the woods.
Yeah. And we'll get all the local deathcore bands together. Yeah, and it'll just be like
just a brawl.
Yep, it'll
the entire
sick. The entire time.
Filling the woods.
Yeah, dude, that would be sick.
nothing left in me. You made your bed now. Worse eternally.
You guys got a really solid game plan. I'm excited to see more of what you guys do. Anything else you guys want to shout out before?
As for shout out, I can't really think of anything.
Anything else we haven't touched?
Basically,
I mean, even though this is like the second time that
you guys
I've been
have
hanging out
ever
with him,
seen each other in person in the real world, out in the wild.
and you know, I'm not there when he's putting like vocals and stuff together. But I bet I was gonna ask him like, so what are you doing to exactly like start developing your vocals, like, or like your lyrical content and stuff? What are you doing for that?
Yeah, right. Okay. You guys kind of are interviewing each other as well at the same time. Honestly,
we're still learning each other, wild. Which is so cool about MARROWEATER, is that, you know, it's new to us and to everyone else.
Yeah. Dude, the internet's a wild place.
But basically, when it comes to doing vocals, I am very. I mean, when I would work with Dev, I mean, he would always call me One Take Dave.
Okay.
Because I was very I'd practice for hours.
Yeah.
Just getting the right tone or whatever, and then I'm a tea guy. I love tea.
Yeah.
And I'll drink a really hot cup of tea, and then I'll just track vocals for 45 minutes, an hour, until my face is beating red.
Yeah.
And then, you know, piece them out, see which ones I like the most, and we'll go from there. But as far as lyrics, what's super weird about MARROWEATER is I talk a little bit about things that I've never really talked about in any of my music. Like, we bring up certain religious topics that are odd to me.
Yeah.
Like, when I say religious, I mean not religious, basically. Talking about certain things that I've always tried to keep out of my music.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think what it comes from is I was raised in a Christian household. And when things like that are kind of, you know, held in front of your face as a kid, you end up having a lot of questions. Mm-hmm. And, you know, questions are good. And I think the questions are what helped me write this music, you know, because whether it be from just simply screaming about betrayal and just the things that I have, you know, been through within the past couple of years, or if it's making up a story, it all just kind of flows together, and I end up writing something like Infestation. And I'm really proud of it, honestly. Yeah. I think it's some of the coolest music I've ever written.
Yeah.
I think a lot of vocalists don't ever consider the idea of like telling a story. Yeah. Besides, like, a lot of vocalists, especially in this genre of music, like to talk about like their feelings or like emotions or something that traumatically happened in their life, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But you don't hardly ever hear too much about people like telling like a fictional story in their music. And I mean, like, best example I could think of is like Cannibal Corpse. They did like an interview, and you know, always getting talked about how like explicit their lyrical content is, and it's like they're just telling a story. They're not really out here doing anything with a knife to a woman or anything.
Right.
I'm not really, you know,
they're just writing horror stories and then putting music on it.
It's I've always thought about it. It's the same as like rap music.
Exactly.
None of those guys are out like really like anybody. Killing people and like
slinging
doing drugs, like selling drugs. Some of them are, but most of the big names they aren't. They've made their names off of other people, like Rick Ross, right? Like Highway Ricky Ross or whatever, the coke dealer for the CIA. Yeah, he took his whole persona and started making music out of it. You know, it's
that's
like,
wild.
You know, stuff like that. So it's like it's hilarious that people like don't see that with. I mean, Deathcore is just a horror movie, written out, like you're to your point.
What's so cool about what we're making is it's like deathcore, hardcore. We'll flip between like just absolute brutal, like crazy in-depth writing to super like punk writing.
Yeah.
So where it'll be like, I'm trying to think of a line.
I've been hanging around the hardcore kids a little too much.
Yeah.
So I end up like writing like some hardcore riffs that like deserve
bleeding over into
some good call outs and everything.
So like I actually do it in Infestation. I kind of switch between both of them. So there's this blast speed part where I say, a weight of guilt and agony rests upon my soul. A misguided path pulls me deep and it won't let go. Can't breathe, tightening the rope. I'll punch your teeth down your throat and then watch you choke.
Okay.
So that's kind of the part where I was like, okay, it's still aggressive, but I'm like really like trying to in-depth write. And then the breakdown is no escape, no mercy left in me. You've made your bed, now rest eternally.
Okay.
So it switches from that writing super in depth and kind of trying to tell a story, and then at the end it's just pure brutal, just the angriest thing I could possibly think of in the moment.
And it makes me kind of happy that the way he's explaining how he kind of goes about like certain things.
Yeah.
Because it works, especially with like because like when I go home and I start writing a song, I'm not writing a song based on what I want to hear and what I want to do.
Yeah.
I actually write my riffs to accommodate for vocals.
Okay.
Instead of being completely technical so much on my guitar playing or my bass riff or anything with the drums.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when anybody listens to a song, the first thing that they want to hear is the vocals.
Yeah.
Before any of that.
Right.
It's the first thing that really punches someone in the face.
Exactly. So I always allocate my writing to go along to what I think vocals could sound like here.
Yeah. Interesting.
Which I will say he has been great about. Oh, my Lord. He'll send me an instrumental, and immediately I feel like I've already got an idea of his thought process of what he was thinking of when he was writing it.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, it's been a really cool foundation between the both of us.
Dude, that's really sick. That's a really cool way of approaching writing this genre of music. Yeah. Definitely. I think
I've told so many people with how so many other members of bands and everything that I've written music with. I think a lot of people get so frustrated or they get caught up in wanting to be so different. And I mean, being different is a big thing.
For sure.
But sometimes simple could be just as best.
Yeah.
And I always kind of put it to myself like, I need to stop writing to satisfy myself, but to start thinking about others. Because, I mean, essentially, do you want to write a song that people only listen to because it's just so complex and they have to listen to it in order to listen to it? Or do you want to write a song that they listen to and it gets stuck in their head?
Exactly.
Yeah, right. And they take it to work with them and they start going like, da 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 da.
The best thing is
while they're stacking shelves or something.
Right.
Those are the songs I want to write.
When you can make catchy, a hard ass song and it still be easy to listen to, you know you've won.
Yeah.
It's and that's exactly what MARROWEATER is. It's absolute just face melting, brain melting deathcore that you'll enjoy if you enjoy that type of music.
Heck yeah. That's sick.
Yeah.
That's real sick. That's a good process.
I know eventually soon we're going to be considering the idea of who we're going to find for our third member for drums and stuff.
Yeah.
Because one of the biggest things about MARROWEATER is we kind of strictly want to move forward as a 3-piece.
Okay. So you're going to play bass then live?
No, but honestly, I wouldn't be against that if we did need a bassist.
Yeah. I mean, always having that fourth guy, especially authentic bass out on stage and stuff. But kind of like with my other band, Reticulatus, a lot of the bands these days do like click tracks and stuff.
Yeah, have the backing production.
Yes, and it's just, and I mean, we only do it not only for us to stay in time with each other, but also to have a more theatrical entertainment set.
For sure.
Because, I mean, I love going to shows where everybody's jamming and, you know, they're just following the drummer. The drummer is the click, but they don't. But between songs, it's just literally a pause and maybe some talking. But I think it's kind of cool when you go see, like, some of these bigger acts, and right as soon as a song ends, you just hear this like creepy ambient, and then that's when like vocalist is like making communication with the audience and stuff in between songs. Yeah. And then, I mean, you can't get everybody on stage like Slipknot to where one guy hits the bass drops on the synthesizer and
right.
And I just think that technologies came so far to where, not saying that we're cheating the system by using click tracks when we play live, but
no, absolutely not.
If it's kind of helpful if you can't get a bass player, or if a guy can't make it onto the show, you can at least just click a button within the DAW system. Yeah. And still be able to perform. Yeah. I mean, I probably wouldn't perform without a vocalist or a drummer.
Right.
But if one of those guys seriously cannot get on that stage with you, then you can still save the show and still have at least a sounding set.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I think a big thing about it is a lot of people have this like idea that like technology can either be a lazy thing or it can be like a cheated route to certain things, especially with music. And I think we all need to let that go. I think we need to realize that what we're doing is tightening the screws. We're making, by using that click track and by using that, you know, background production, all we're doing is amplifying our live show. Yeah. It's still us playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and I tell people all the time, like, you know, when I go out on stage and I use vulgar language and stuff like that, yell at the crowd, I'm not that kind of guy. But you're in the entertainment industry, and you know,
you gotta sell it.
You gotta be the entertainer, and you gotta put yourself into character.
Meet me at the merch table.
Yeah, or start swinging on them.
Like, I want to see somebody die in this pit.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean I really want somebody to die.
I want them all to live.
It's part of entertainment,
and I think they all get that, especially when you're going to see a local deathcore show. Yeah. If I went to a local deathcore show and they didn't tell me to kill the person to my right, I'd be a little disappointed.
Yeah, right. It's not. You don't get the same effect.
You don't. You know? It's needed.
Yeah, right. Man, and I mean, when people occasionally pass out, it's like you know, it only adds to the entire.
Exactly. That is a moment that everyone took away from that.
Cleveland Mosh, somebody broke their leg during one of the sets.
Wow.
Ambulance came and everything.
Was it a band member or was it someone in the audience?
No, it was somebody in the audience, and it was I think it was during X86X set.
That's sick.
And that was like later in the night.
It's not sick, but that's sick.
You're right.
That's like, rock and roll if I've ever heard of it.
Dude, that's nuts.
Yeah, that's sick.
Not a fun place to break your leg.
No.
But luckily, I mean, everybody they probably carried him out in some form or helped him get out.
And that's the coolest thing about, you know, deathcore and metal and everyone in this community is we may be very angry in our music, but we are all, you know, uplifting and want nothing but the best for each other.
I got my face broken into when I was at Signs of the Swarm in 6 Deep out at the Winchester, and I just remember I got socked right in the nose. Oh. And because of where they hit me, it was like on the bridge of my nose towards my eye. So of course there was like that, when you got up, there was like that black moment because your eye is like already adjusting to trauma. Yeah. And then by the time I could see, I just know that I was like pouring like a water fountain of blood. And I go outside and like 10, 15 different people from inside come out and they're like, "You okay, dude? You okay? Can I get you some ice and everything?"
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's cool.
And that's something about our community that I just always love is, you know, we can be aggressive and have fun, but when something does happen, we're there to help each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
The number one rule in the mosh pit is if someone falls, pick them up.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that really like surrounds the metal community.
Yeah.
No matter what we're talking about, whether we're talking about moshing or we're talking about simply making the music.
Yeah.
We can keep this down to opinions, but let me ask everybody here, what's their thoughts on the crowd killing?
What do you mean? What is crowd killing?
I mean, it just depends on where you're... I think it just depends on where you're at, what part of the part of the country, what part of the scene, who's used to it, who's not. I think the only issues you really come into is when there's like a lot of people that don't know what is going on, that go to a show and don't understand.
Like me, what is crowd killing?
Yeah, exactly. Case in point.
Well, I mean, you got different mosh pits and stuff, and like a lot of like the bigger deathcore shows, you got the people that will throw each other around.
Oh,
and like,
okay.
It's just intentionally hitting, intentionally hitting people on the edge. Like the people will walk around and like hit people with, like punch people, or they'll like into like super like
there's hardcore dancers
shows that I've heard in like Youngstown and other parts of Northeast Ohio, where I used to live. That like just be people like just pretty much fighting each other, right?
Full-blown assault.
To it's like the super extreme side to the super just regular people just moshing and being very aware of each other. But it's usually just people like kicking or punching into the crowd around them is usually what would constitute crowd killing.
I feel like I mean, my opinion on it is if someone obviously doesn't want to be a part of it, then leave them out, man.
Well, and that's the thing is like that's kind of not the point. If you're standing on the edge, you're a part of it, and that's what I'm saying is like there's a lot of people that don't understand that go to show that listen to this music and they'll go and they'll think that this is just people are just gonna be like push moshing, you know what I mean? And then they'll like get into it, and then somebody punches them in the face, and they're trying to fight each other, and it's like, well, so it's like, do you understand the dynamic and the culture because you're there a lot and understand it through experience, or do you understand it by just like listening to the music online and not coming? And when those two crowds meet, I think, or like the normal everyday average, like working Joe that comes to these shows that aren't used to it, that's usually where the problem comes.
I went and saw We Came as Romans and Body Snatcher a few years ago at the House of Blues in Cleveland.
Yeah, I love that place.
And I mean, if you guys know Body Snatcher, right?
Yes.
I mean, things are intense at a Body Snatcher show.
Yeah.
And kind of like what you were saying, some people don't realize what they're going to and stuff. And there are just obvious places where you can and can't be. Yeah. Or you need to be more alert when you do go to these events. And I mean, you should be alert at all times, any kind of social event, club.
Right.
Because there's dangerous people out there outside of just music. But other than that, even when... I went in there was a conflict between that I saw that was going on between a woman and a couple other dudes, and I mean, I don't think she just understood that you're literally in the rim of the pit. You're just hanging out there, and she's getting mad that all these people are flying around and fists or spin kicks are going on. And then she tried to start something with all these guys, and everybody's just telling her like, "You're at a Body Snatcher show. you don't if you don't want to be part of this, that's fine, but you can't be right here." And they're being
there's
nice
a lot
about
of other parts of the room that you can be standing in besides right in the middle where everybody's swinging their fists and kicking their legs.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Yeah. People just, it's interesting. And it's really a bummer because like it can be a lot of fun when people are really getting into it and moshing hard, and it's a good time. But like some people are just like, I can stand here and you have to not swing at me. It's like, well, like there's an entire culture to this that it's fine, you're not privy to it, and that's okay. Like, but don't also try and fight somebody because you don't understand what's going on.
I don't even partake in like mosh pits and stuff anymore. Right. And when I do, it's like only like for like maybe a brief second, just to maybe start things off, or like any of my homie bands, especially when they're playing hard riffs.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm usually hanging out on the side or towards the back because I know I don't really want to participate or get dragged into it unintentionally to where there could be conflict.
Yeah. Right.
Well,
it happens.
It does,
unfortunately.
But I mean, as far as MARROWEATER, I mean, I think we've We've got a lot of good music that we are very excited to show. But for right now, we're really gonna let everything expand. And in the process of that, we're still making music. I mean, it's not like we made these few songs and now we're like resting while we no, we're still busting them out.
Yeah.
And I think that's the coolest part is we're just creating.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to continue to create.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just going to focus on the foundation and just kind of keep building up the building from there.
Heck yeah.
And then once the building feels complete to us, then we can have a open house,
ribbon cutting ceremonies.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude, heck yeah. I'm excited for this project. I really am. You guys are very hungry and very disciplined with your writing and practicing and creating process and getting stuff out. So
try to be.
I'm excited to see and hear where it goes, man.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Give us your socials. What is it?
So, I mean, my social is on me personally. I'm on Facebook and Instagram Chase Burka official. But you can find like tags and stuff like that of me throughout MARROWEATER or even Reticulatus, Ohio.
Cool.
Absolutely. And I am
the people find you.
DOOMSDAYVE. It is Doomsday with a VE at the end. And
Doomsday with the VE.
Yeah, I've got all my music on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you find your music, and MARROWEATER. We are MARROWEATER_OH.
Yes.
Yeah. On Instagram, and I think just MARROWEATER OH on TikTok. So yeah, we've got a lot more coming. Go listen to Infestation.
Yeah,
it's very good, and
you're gonna love it.
We're proud of it.
Heck yeah, boys.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I'm
we'll
stoked that we made this happen. Yeah, right? Maybe more than that.
We'll be back when the second single's out.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Oh, hopefully you guys got more, like a whole album by then.
Yeah, hopefully.
That'd be sick.
Oh, absolutely.
But this has been another episode of the Open Mic Podcast with me, your host, Tom Hirst, brought to you by Richland Source Newsroom After Hours. Who are we sponsoring today? Two Cousins Pizza, because they rule.
They do.
Relax, it's just coffee. They got
I'll
stuff.
have to check them out.
Yeah, two Cousins. It's a good pizza.
It's good
right
pizza,
over
man.
there. It's a good time.
It's
good pizza, good fun. I don't know about if
you have fun eating pizza.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what else? I don't know. My wife's a realtor now, so go check her out. Buy houses from us, and or buy houses from her. I don't do it, but it's Mallory Hirst, and I think check it out. She's on Instagram, Facebook, mostly on Facebook. Look up Mallory Hirst, MALLORYHIRST, and Richland Source, thank you guys for, as always, letting us host and letting us hang out in here and do our thing. Lee, Potent Studios, he's building a lot of stuff on Instagram, if you haven't noticed. So go find his Instagram. It's Potent Studios or Lee McIntosh. Yeah, sure. We'll chill with those ones today.
Cool.
Boys, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Mansfield, Ohio is the greatest city in the continental U.S. Peace.
Peace.